You're going to have Jeter and Larry Walker later on today at 5:30 p.m.
Yeah,
Eastern
it's
Time.
gonna be cool, man.
I was talking about.
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
I was talking about earlier the speeches in the Meadow in Cooperstown this summer. You're going to have somebody like, in a way, corporate America with Jeter, and then you're going to have Larry Walker showing up, and I guess in his SpongeBob shirt, maybe. You got a contrast in this class right here, Harold. That's going to be blessed.
Well, that's what's cool about it. Plus, all of New York's going. It's going to be amazing. It will be the largest crowd in Cooperstown history. I know they had some great crowds at Mariano and with Ripken and Gwen at the same time. But, Derek Jeter is everything from New York and beyond. And Larry Walker's from Canada. And so you're going to have a lot of folks coming down from nearby Canada and Montreal and whatnot to come down as well. So it's going to be an enormous crowd, and it's going to be a fun time.
Do we know who the individual that did not vote for Jeter as a Hall of Famer? Do we know who that person is, Harold?
Haven't heard yet, but I'm sure they are searching for him all over the place, him or her. I just hope that they voted because they just felt like he wasn't qualified to be a Hall of Famer. Okay, that's your opinion. That's what you want to say. But I sure hope it's not a publicity stunt. And it will be fleshed out in due time, and that will be a conversation to be had. But I want to hear from the individual, and I'd love to hear what they were thinking.
Yeah, the only one that my prediction is you're going to hear, well, Ripken didn't go in, and all these others didn't go in as unanimous at the shortstop position, and I didn't feel that Jeter was better than them, so I couldn't vote for Jeter. And to me, that just makes no sense. I mean, everybody should be in its own world, in its own time, in its own place, judged on whether is the person worthy of the Hall of Fame or not. And I know it took Walker all the way to the very end of his eligibility to finally get that consensus, but somebody like Jeter, there's just, I mean, you can't tell the story of the Yankees, can't tell the story of that part of the century without him. I mean, it's nuts.
I hear you, and we all have a love for Derek and watched him play, really watched him grow up. We spent time together covering him from '96 on,
yep.
And fall in love with that core four and the Yankees. And the biggest thing when you look back at Derek's legacy, he did it through all the controversy. You look at all the players that fell during that time, the steroid era. He stayed clean, and trust me, they were looking. And he stayed clean through the whole thing. I think that is a tribute to him and the player that he is to put up the numbers and all that. So I think that stands for something as well. But you're dead on. You're probably right. If Willie Mays wasn't 100%, how's he? If Cal wasn't 100%, how's he? So you can be absolutely right. But we'll see. I mean, we're going to hear from this individual, and I just wonder what they have to say.
What do you think his legacy is? What's Jeter's legacy?
I think he's one of the greatest players in history, and his impact is going to be everlasting. I mean, it's Mickey Mantle. It's one of the biggest Yankees ever, and I think maybe bigger in this sense that we live in a different time than in the 40s and the 50s with DiMaggio and Mantle and all those guys because of social media and the reach of how you can reach not only New York or baseball fans, but globally. Derek Jeter walks down the street, people know who he is. Mike Trout walks down the street, people do not recognize him as much. And Mickey Mantle, they would have never known had he walked down the street in Oregon when I was growing up as a kid. I never saw him. I just heard about him. I read about him. So that's how things have changed so much. But he transcends the game of baseball. And it was interesting, real quick, I'll just throw this out there.
Sure.
I'm curious what's going to happen on induction day. I mean, this is a guy that I was fortunate to really get to know, and I hosted his events in golf in Tampa for 10 straight years, and we had John Legend sing. We had Boyz II Men at his wedding. He knows Jay-Z. He's been at his events. There's no telling who's going to be there. He's interviewed Obama. He was on Saturday Night Live. I mean, he transcended so many things outside of baseball. This is a very unique baseball player. We may see it in other sports. You don't see that in baseball.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.